Hey folks, my name's Nicholas. Welcome to Play on Tabletop, and today in the studio I have with me Mubin and Brent. If you have been watching our channel for a while, you have seen these guys before on our channel playing massive Tyranid armies. And we have brought them back because we have something special. We get to preview the new codex before it comes out! I'm actually really excited. It's the first time we've ever got to do that! Tyranids! Okay, first up, first impressions, good codex, bad codex. What do you think?
Amazing.
Amazing?
Yeah, great codex. Everything's viable.
Awesome. You heard it here. Everything's viable. If you don't know who these two gentlemen right over here are, this is Mubin. He's played on our channel before a couple times, and he loves the Tyranids.
Absolutely love them.
Hey, how long have you been playing them for?
Since I started Warhammer, it was my first army that I actually built, bought, and painted and put together. And for some reason, I thought the greatest way to start an army would be to buy 190 models and put them all together and paint them all in 3 months.
And would you consider yourself a competitive player or a casual player?
Right now, a little bit more casual, but I think the Tyranids might pull me back into competitive again.
And Brent, you yourself, I think are you #1 in Canada?
Right now, I'm the #1 Tyranid player in Canada, and at this very second, I'm #6 in the world.
That's pretty good. And we've got him here in the studio, and he's going to tell us from his perspective, is this a competitive book? Can you win tournaments with this? And are Tau just going to beat them? Are Harlequins going to beat them?
No. Depends on how you build it.
Fair enough, fair enough. Yeah. I myself, I have played Tyranids a bunch, not on the channel, but I do have a Tyranid army. I actually really love the Tyranids. Whenever I play a learning game with someone to teach someone the game, I always pull up my Tyranids because I just play a swarm of fun stuff because who doesn't like killing the enemy, right? And so...
It's like reenacting Star Trek Troopers all over again.
Exactly. What stands out to you the most in this book? Like as you're leafing through it, what kind of stood out to you the most?
For me, the biggest change is there's actual viability. There's actual different things that you can be. It's not one single build. The last book was basically Hiveguard. You had Hiveguard, 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 Hiveguard. The book before that was the multiple flying tyrants, taking the 5 flying tyrants when you were allowed to before they had the rule of 3. And then before that was the Doom of Malentine. There's really never been much variation off of, hey, this is how you play this army. I love taking giant swarms. I went to a tournament, Godicon, timed tournament, very competitive when it was around, 120 Hormigons in my army.
Wow. And is that viable now?
That is viable now. It was not viable then.
So you're feeling like you could run Swarm here and have success?
First initial impression is I'm going to take more Termagants than you have 4 times the amount of models in your army. I'm going to have that many Termagants.
I love it. First impressions for yourself.
I have to agree with Brent. There's a lot of options. It's almost decision overload at this point because I want to run everything.
So you're feeling like the book has great internal balance.
A fantastic internal balance. Like there isn't a single unit in the book that I would look at and immediately dismiss and be like, no, this is absolutely trash, would not take it. Everything has a purpose. I know some people will look at the Hiveguard and be like, they're not as good anymore. But personally, I think the changes fit with the fluff. I like how the new Impaler guns work.
Number of things that have changed this book. There's one big thing, Synapse is now different.
6 inches past morale.
So there's also one thing that I thought was really cool is how they do the hive fleets now. So before you choose a hive fleet, you got a bonus. But now they actually have this kind of like adaptation thing. Because in the lore, the Tyranids are all about like adapting at a whim of the hive fleet to whatever they need to solve a solution. So
and this is why I still blame Tau for giving Tyranids artillery. It's their fault we evolved it.
So you're saying this is a broadside is what you're saying?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, no, I'd say that's more like a hammerhead.
So basically, when you roll up to the table and you've got your hive fleet trait and you're getting some sort of bonus, you can roll to the table, see your opponent, and say, after the first turn is figured out,
yep, and who's going first?
I've got a different bonus.
Yeah. So it only works for the named hive fleets, so like Hive Fleet Behemoth, Kraken, Leviathan. So they'll have their normal hive fleet traits, but they'll also have an adaptive trait. And each hive fleet gets to pick from from 2 of 3 different trees. So Behemoth will have access to, say, Hunt and Lurk. So you can change out their reroll charges to something like adding an extra inch or two to their charge.
I love that so much. That's so much like tactical depth and flexibility that I feel like the Tyranids should always have. They always should have had something like that. Okay, now we're not going to go through every single unit in this book because there's a lot of them, and other channels will do that. We're not interested in that. We're looking for our reactions and our review on this. But can you guys give me one unit that you think maybe changed a lot and why you like that unit, or maybe why you don't like the unit?
Good and bad. Go.
Okay, good, I would have to say, is going to be the Warriors.
The Tyranid Warriors?
Tyranid Warriors got a massive upgrade. They came down a bit in points, but they just have so many options, and they're no longer a...
They felt like you was a tax before. You just had to
they're not a tax. Now they're actually a good, solid unit in the book. Worst unit? Because
there's no bad unit.
There's no bad unit. Like, the only thing that I can really see is, like, isn't as good as it used to be is the Hive Guard, right? They're not.
But they were broken.
They were.
Seriously.
They were.
Who liked facing against 12 Hive Guard that could shoot you anywhere you wanted with like a billion damage?
And that is why I only ever ran 6. I never felt good running more than 6. Anything more than that just felt wrong. And
so what's changed about them now? What's different about the Hive Guard?
so now they've actually changed it so their non-line of sight shooting actually works similar to how the lore does. Because for people that aren't familiar with Hive Guard, they're blind. They actually can't see. They have no eyes on them.
Oh, you're right. They have no eyes.
Yeah, they're blind.
They just have a bunch of armor on their head.
And they use synapse creatures to actually help guide and
They're
get
like
to their
smart
targets.
missiles.
Yeah, they're like smart missiles. A synapse creature just has to have line of sight on your target.
Okay, so synergy, making sure you have one unit that can see the target, then they can shoot out a line of sight.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool. I like that. All right, what about you?
Biggest plus is probably the litter. Not being able to be targeted outside of 12 inches is huge. Competitive wise, it's behind enemy lines. It's, hey, I'm going to park him in your corner, and you got to go back and get him, or else I'm getting 2 points, bring in 2. They went up wounds, they went up toughness, they have an invuln. So plus,
strength too?
plus, yeah, strength. But if you're in hand-to-hand combat with a litter, you're probably doing the wrong thing.
Yeah,
I agree, but you know, the extra strength is still nice.
And then on top of that, the 1 CP to pull him back off. So hey, here's your army, you're tanking in the middle. Let's go for Tau, let's just pick on Tau. They have their huge castle.
We have Tau Nick, it's only fair.
They have the huge castle in the middle. I'm gonna put 1 litter here, 1 litter over in that corner. He's gotta move to be within 12 to even shoot at him. So not only is he breaking his castle or giving me 4 points every turn with behind enemy lines, if he shifts this way, then 1 CP, I pull him off, I get 2 points that turn, next turn I get 4 with 2 over there. They went up in points, but I think it's well worth it. Stronger, invuln. And my biggest loss, I think, is Rippers losing the troop selection.
Oh, interesting. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, losing troops. I play Monster Mash a lot too. I'm very strong into Monster Mash. When I ran my Chronos, my shooty nids, I would not take anything but Rippers. Rippers would be my only troops, 3 units of Rippers, and half the time I would forget to even deploy them.
I think we've all done that at least once. At least once.
You got that 112 points just off the board. Oh, it's turn 4 and I had Rippers.
They'll come in later. It's turn 2. No, it's too early.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, turn 4 comes around. Oh, right, I had Rippers.
Yeah.
Oop.
Brent, you mentioned earlier you had a really cool army list that you wanted to try.
When I saw the book, I was up all night reading. I have tons and tons and tons of Gaunts. My thought right now is to take a battalion and a patrol, take 3 Tervagons overall.
Yeah.
Take 90 Termagants, bubble them up, obviously. I could probably do 120 as well. Each one of them controlling like 2 square inches of the board or something. I did the math earlier. It was 1/3 of the board you could take over. If I go first, I birth out 3 units of 10 for free.
Because the Tervagons are like mummy monsters. They birth Tervagons.
They gave birth. So if you go first, you spawn Termagon. 3 units, you can spawn 210 points worth of Termagants, which is equal to 1 of the moms.
And
you can't target the mom if there's 15 in the way. So you wrap them and intertwine them, Sure, kill 15 of them. I have another unit of 30 that you have to kill 15 of them, and I have another unit of 30 that you have to kill 15 of them before you can shoot at the moms.
Actually, you have to kill 16.
16, yeah, 16
Right?
of them.
Because you got to get under that 15.
And then
And that's assuming the moms aren't bringing them back.
in my next command phase, each one of them rolls 2d6 and adds those back to the unit.
Okay, that actually sounds like a fun challenge. Like I'd like that. I love that feeling of overwhelming coming at you. That's what the Tyranid should feel like.
Their gun is going up 1 strength. Strength 5, right? It's huge. In the back,
6 inches.
yeah, extra 6 inches, and then having Tyrant Guard, just to bubble them too. Like they're going to be back here, way in the back. They're going to have moms in front of them, and then they're going to have babies all around. I'm going to take up half the board before the game really even starts. I'm going to be on every objective. I'm going to have stranglehold. Unless your whole entire army or most of your army's objective secure, you're never taking an objective, right?
I want to try that with my Tau. I want to play that. I want to fight that.
You're not getting them on back lines.
No.
You're not doing anything.
It's a win to. It's a list to score points, and who cares what your opponent does? Yeah.
Nothing in the current meta can really handle it. Nothing puts out that many shots except for Tau, but that would be pure Fire Warriors and
Yeah, I feel like I would have to tailor the list to beat that.
yeah.
Yeah.
But you will never have a Custode friend again.
From what you're telling me, this feels like the Tyranids are coming in and they're gonna shake up the meta.
Yeah, they're
I
gonna,
think they will.
they're definitely going to put it on the tilt. Currently, on this date, right now, Harlequins are the most broken thing ever. But I'm only hitting you on 4+ anyways, right, with my shooting. So go for it. I think there are armies that are going to get stronger with them coming out. I see a resurgence of Admech
Interesting, because of the amount of shots they have?
because of the amount of shots. But then again, I don't think many people are going to take my style of list. I see a lot of people taking the 30 Gene Stealers, the 3 units of 10 Gene Stealers, because they have Infiltrate again. Ham in your face, taking pods with Trigons in them to drop on turn 1, or Carnifexes in them to drop on turn 1, to be in your back line to push you into a corner.
That's so cool. Okay, when I read the Tau Codex, I was so excited when it came out. I was so excited because it felt like really good internal balance, and I felt like finally the Tau play like how I think they should play. Like I feel like I can have fun with any unit in there. I can feel like I make a billion different creative lists. And then I started playing and winning all the games, and it just felt like, okay, I felt a little feel bad. It's like, I want other codexes to have like this. I feel like, well, from what I've read of the Tyranid Codex, the Tyranids have that. All right, from your guys' perspective, is this book a healthy addition to this game?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Like Brent said, it's going to shake things up. And I think even outside of competitive play, even on a casual setting, it's still going to shake things up because, you know, even for me, while I don't quite have a dream list built up like Brent does, I can't decide what I want. Like, I want a little bit of Gene Stealers. I want to have Tyranid Warriors in there. I want the Hormagaunts and the Termagants. And normally I never wanted to run them. But like, I want them in my list now. Even the Toxicrene, one of the most annoying models to ever move or get into combat with. I want to run it because just it looks so much more interesting now. I think I have more options than I have points in a list.
So like, there's been a lot of talk online at the time of this recording of, because Harlequins just came out and they kind of broke everything because they're super strong with a really, really high win rate, and everyone's like, oh, the game's broken. And yes, there does seem to be some, maybe possibly some oversights in some of those stuff, and maybe some stuff needs to be addressed there. But I gotta wonder if all the codexes were ramped up to the level of Custodes and Tau and what Eldar look like, and possibly what Tyranids look like they could be. I wonder, would the game feel more fun when everyone is at that level?
I think everyone's kind of ramped up. Like, I think they've actually kind of thought this out a little bit to think 2-3 steps ahead. Because now that we just had the big tournament in the States, I don't even remember what, Adepticon. Yeah, and a Necron placed in the top 8.
A Necron placed in the top 8.
Necron.
Yeah.
And it's just this ever-changing cycle. That's what I see what's happening with this is Tyranids break the cycle and make something really different. I see Admech making a second run.
Space Marines.
No, there's no hope for Space Marines. There's no hope for Space
Sorry,
Marines.
Steve. Yeah. Basically, whenever a new codex comes out, it changes up everything because now people have to account for that codex, so they have to change their list, which means when they change their list, everything else that could possibly go against it changes, and it honestly does keep the game pretty fresh.
It does.
It's definitely a very fun book. It looks great. I can't wait to play with it. I don't think there's a single model, a single entry in that book that I wouldn't play with.
That's a great recommendation. Right. So you're still having a lot of fun with 40K is what you're saying?
Yeah, I love 40K. Quite honestly, it's probably being the best. No, I can't say that. My wife will kill me.
That's so encouraging to see because like sometimes I go on the internet and like it's all just complaining, everything's broken, everything's fun, no fun. It's just like there's lots of people who are having fun with this that are not going to top table tournaments. So basically, if you're having fun with it, don't let someone else tell you that you're not. This can be a lot of fun. I've enjoyed looking at this. I'm actually now talking about this, I'm actually incredibly excited to try playing against it. Yeah. And I really want to play a Tau versus Tau for a Tyranid game. Thank you so much for joining us today, helping us get a little bit of a glance and reactions to what this possibly might be and mean for Tyranid players. I bet there's some Tyranid players watching right now that are incredibly excited. Anything you want to say to the Tyranid players that are watching right now?
Prepare yourself. You're going to have a lot of options, and you're going to have a lot of fun.
To everyone who's not playing Tyranids, why not?
And watch out. Till we see you next time, play on.